Hello, Resistance
Hey, guys.
Chicks, January 7th, 2017.
And we want to come and talk to you about the awesome news that the House votes to condemn anti-Israel UN resolution.
So the House is doing something against the United Nations.
And Obama. So there's only really one reason why Obama would go behind Israel's back.
Right.
Would meet secretly with Palestinian leaders. Because the man is Muslim.
Right.
He doesn't see the Temple Mount as Jewish. He sees them as Muslim sacred sites. And that is what we here at Resistance Chicks are going to bring forward.
Right.
Obama has been trying to... I saw a little cartoon where Santa Claus is coming up on the chimney trying to get this giant thing of packages through the chimney.
Mm-hmm.
And Obama says... got this big giant thing. It says, wait, I'm trying to shove in everything I can at the last minute down this chimney. So this is one of those things. Okay, Benjamin Netanyahu came out and said he had on good authority, he knew for sure, that Obama has, this is his resolution. And the reason he didn't veto it is because he put this forward, and you can tell for sure, because it carries comments afterwards, blow your mind. And basically, they're taking Israel, our ally in the Middle East, our democratic ally in the Middle East, and stabbing him in the back.
When the House votes, and the number was
342 to 80 with
more Democrats voting for the measure than against it.
So Obama's pretty much outnumbered.
Yeah.
And why he would push this through is not beyond me.
But when you saw our video yesterday, you got that wonderful quote from him that says, I have a phone and I have a pen. And anytime that I can do anything outside of going through
But the fact that he went behind the closed walls, behind closed doors, and crafted this with all these other nations, setting everything up.
What did you say about Egypt? That was really fascinating.
Egypt was the one who put this resolution forward
At first
with Obama on the phone.
And unprecedented.
Trump, a couple nights before, calls up Egypt and
How do you just call up Egypt? Hey,
basically said, we don't know exactly what he says, but the idea is, listen, when I come in, you're going to want to be friends with me. Obama's out. So let's work together on this.
Exactly.
Probably, the way we do things is not always awesome. Money probably exchanged whatever promises.
And the result of this phone call was?
Egypt didn't put it forward. It went through, but it wasn't Egypt putting it through.
Right.
And I want to let you listen to Paul Ryan, who, his speech
My colleagues,
condemning
I'd like to
the
read
UN
you a
resolution.
quote.
Listen.
Peace is hard work. Peace will not come through statements and resolutions of the United Nations. If it were that easy, it would have been accomplished by now. Ultimately, it is the Israelis and the Palestinians who must live side by side, close quote.
Who did that?
That was President Obama in 2011, and he was right.
Peace doesn't come through UN resolutions.
I am stunned.
Stunned.
I am stunned at what happened last month. This government, our government, abandoned our ally Israel when she needed us the
one
most.
veto for it not to go through from one of the founding
Do not
countries.
be fooled.
Right.
This UN Security Council resolution was not about settlements,
It wasn't about
and
settlement.
it certainly
was
was
not.
not about peace.
And it wasn't about making peace.
It was about one thing and one thing only. Israel's right to exist as a Jewish democratic state. These types of one-sided efforts are designed to isolate and delegitimize Israel. Israel has the tools to defend herself against those who seek her destruction.
There are countries who literally say
And in
Israel has
every
no
one of
right to
those
exist.
instances,
Many countries,
Everyone.
actually, and many people say
Republicans,
that. Why is anybody ever supposed to believe you if you're going to do, if you gossip behind somebody's back? Well, then the person you're gossiping with has to know you're doing that to me.
Right.
Why would an ally of America trust America if we stab our allies in the back? And I'm so proud of the House
Yeah.
for pushing this through and going against
And
UN.
Netanyahu had something to say.
After the
love
outrageous
listening to
anti-Israel
him.
resolution at the UN, the U.S. House of Representatives voted yesterday resoundingly to support Israel and reject this one-sided resolution. Democrats and Republicans alike know that the Western Wall isn't occupied territory. They voted to either repeal the resolution at the UN or change it, and that's exactly what we intend to do. I want to thank the U.S. House of Representatives, which reflects the tremendous support Israel enjoys among the American people.
Right.
Thank you, America. Thank you, Congress.
I think it's beautiful. I think that we need to get back to unity in the world. We're never going to have perfection, okay? Russia's got issues. Israel has issues. America, y'all, we got issues. Just wanted to show you this tweet by Donald Trump. Right after the resolution was passed by the UN, he says, as to the UN, things will be different after January 20th. And that makes me giggle. I laugh because I love that he's tweeting these things out. He's letting the UN know not through behind closed doors.
Right.
Not through little, secret meetings
whispers.
and things like that. And also,
He's just laying it out there.
former U.S. Ambassador to the UN, John Bolton, has reportedly called on the incoming Trump administration to retaliate against countries who supported a recent UN Security Council resolution against Israeli settlement. Washington-based news site The Hill quoted Bolton as telling the New York radio station that Malaysia and Venezuela in particular should have their U.S. aid cut. Now, they're these smaller nations. They don't really have, they're not huge wealth or anything like that, and they're making these decisions against Israel, and you have to wonder, what is it that's
what is
causing...
the motivating factor? And the question that we were posing earlier was, why is Barack Obama so against Israel? Why is he so for pushing these sanctions and these resolutions against Israel? And so the question shouldn't be asked, why this, why that? Is Israel a good country? Is Israel not a good country? Should they be? Should they not be? Really, let's start with the most basic of questions, and we can branch out from that. The most basic of question is, why are so many states so violently, and I use that word fervently, so violently anti-Israel?
Well, the UN resolution is one of dozens of rebukes against Israel in 2016.
Against Israeli settlements and more. It comes amid calls for the U.S. to cut funding to the UN until that decision is reversed. Our own Kelly Wright is live in Washington, D.C. with the latest on this. Kelly, give us the details on this.
Pete, I will. Good morning to you and Lisa as well. The ripple effect of the UN settlement vote is still being felt in the United States and in the Middle East. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas today applauding the UN Security Council's resolution to condemn Israeli settlements in the Palestinian territory. He hopes it will be the focus of a January conference in France, where countries will come together to try and form a plan for peace between Israel and the Palestinians. Now, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu seeks a different approach. He wants direct talks with the Palestinians. Abbas has refused. Israel also claims it has proof that President Obama helped orchestrate the UN Security Council resolution, a vote it says will only hurt the chance for peace. So as for Mr. Netanyahu, well, he's hoping to find support in the new Trump administration. And
the UN seems to signal Israel out. Israel is a democratic elected country, allows Muslims, Jews, Christians. The latest United States Security Council vote, which is not just about the Israeli settlements, but also challenges Israel's claim to parts of the old city of Jerusalem, along with other sacred sites to the Jews, Christians, and Muslims. The UN General Assembly adopted 20 anti-Israel resolutions this year. 20. While passing just 4 for the rest of the world. 1 for North Korea. 1 against North Korea. 1 for
they're not
Syria.
doing anything there.
Anybody heard of Aleppo? Okay. 1 for Iran and 1 for Russia. A variety of UN agencies singled out Israel for rebuke. The World Health Organization condemned Israel as the world's only violator of mental, physical, and environmental health.
That has got to be one of the most bogus things I have ever heard in my entire
This one
life.
got me because I read a couple articles about this. The UN women chastise Israel. Now, do you have to wear a headscarf in Israel? Can you drive a car in Israel? Are you genitally mutilated in Israel? No! But they chastise Israel as the world's only violator of women's rights. making no mention of the misogynistic practices, which
gosh.
means we now know hate women
women.
hating, and they do in Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iran, and other societies oppressing women. Just Google some of these. They have to wear the whole hijab,
Right.
covering your face. Now, these women, it just boggles my mind that you go into a country and you have to wear this full thing, and you're looking through here,
Right.
and you can't do anything, you can't go anywhere, you can't have an education, and they're not violating women's rights.
Exactly.
Israelis.
It just goes to prove. I mean, it is as plain as the nose on my face that there is an agenda against Israel.
The
We have
International
all seen it.
Labor Organization condemned Israel as the only violator of labor rights.
For those of you that watch sports, this is like referees that are bought off, and you see them throwing those yellow flags around every corner, and then you see the coaches and all the players and all the teammates, and they're all like, "What? That wasn't a foul? Oh my gosh!" That's what's happening here. We have bought off referees in the UN throwing red, yellow, blue, green flags on Israel because they have an agenda here.
The UNESCO, which is charged with safeguarding World Heritage sites and history, adopted a resolution condemning Israel for engaging in aggressive actions in East Jerusalem, referring to the holiest site in Jerusalem, the Temple Mount, and the Western Wall, solely by Islamic names, Haram al-Sharif, Al-Aqsa Mosque, Barak Wall Plaza, negating thousands of years of Jewish and Christian heritage. The Barak is the winged horse that, according to Islamic tradition, the Prophet Muhammad rode. So basically, it didn't refer to the Temple Mount. They wouldn't refer to the Western Wall, but they only referred to him by the Muslim names.
Right.
Now, just to give people background, Israel captured East Jerusalem, including the Old City of Jerusalem, from Jordan in the 1967 Israel-Arab Six-Day War. Israel also captured the West Bank from Jordan, which includes Bethlehem and other biblical sites. The United States broke with practice last week and allowed the Security Council to condemn Israeli settlements in the West Bank and East Jerusalem as a flagrant violation of international law. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called the resolution absurd. The nations of the world respect strong countries that stand up for themselves and do not respect weak countries that bow their heads. We could go back and forth on settlements, but there was a war in 1967. Israel took some land. They are holding on to that land because they want peace. They hold on to it because they know as soon as there's some sort of resolution, they actually tried to give some land back, and then they just kept getting blown up.
Well, and not only that, but what I was going to say earlier was I saw Netanyahu give a speech the other day, and he was talking about these particular settlements. And what he said was that Israel allows anyone to be there. Whatever your race, religion, whatever, they can be there. But if the Palestinians had that same land, the Jews wouldn't be allowed to be there. So that should,
you've watched some of our other videos. If you go back, you see the Palestinian kindergartners are, brainwashed into fighting Israelis. It's interesting. On the same day, the UN Human Rights Council concluded its month-long session in Geneva by condemning Israel 5 times more than any of the other 192 UN member states. It says no slander is deemed too vile for the UN human rights bodies that routinely listen to highly orchestrated Palestinian versions of the ancient blood libel against the Jews. In Geneva, Palestinian representative Ibrahim Karishi told the council on March 24th, 2016, Israeli soldiers and settlers kill Palestinian children. They shoot them dead. They will leave them to bleed to death. And in New York, Palestinian Representative Hafa al-Lagaga
good try. That's really
told
good
CSW on March 16, 2016, Israel is directing its military machinery against women and girls. They are killing them, injuring them, and leaving them bleeding to death. This is not true. This is made up junk.
Fake news.
Fake news.
But what is real news, and what we wanted to bring to you today, because we want to wrap it up to make it short for you guys, is that the House stood up against President Obama with his pen and his phone and stood with our historical ally,
one-sided anymore. And we do pray for peace in the Middle East.
Yes.
We pray right now, Lord, bring peace to the Middle East. Bring peace to the Israelis. Bring peace to
Yes,
Palestine.
Lord.
my producer, would like for me to mention, there's only really one reason why Obama would go behind Israel's back.
Right.
Would meet secretly with Palestinian leaders because the man is Muslim.
Right.
He doesn't see the Temple Mount as Jewish. He sees them as Muslim sacred sites. And that is what we here at Resistance Chicks are going to bring forward.
Right.
We are going to talk about these things. We are going to talk about the fact that he is the most Muslim president in history. He pretends to be a Christian, and in Muslim text you're allowed to lie to the infidels.
Right.
And but every motion he has made is anti-Christian,
anti-Israeli,
and he even keeps in his pocket all these like jingly things, these trinkets. He's got Buddhas, he's got Muslim trinkets, he's got all kinds of trinkety winkies in his pocket. You know, he's playing us as a fool.
But he had a rosary in there.
Stop it. He's Muslim, and we could put together a compilation of all the different things he has done to promote. And I'm not saying that all Muslims are bad. I'm saying that there are Muslims with an agenda.
Right. And that's the point.
And he is one of those Muslims with an agenda.
Right. That's the problem.
And he hates America. He hates Christians. And he wants to bring us down.
But guess what? He's only got a couple of more days of his lame duck things to pull it off. And we just have to...
But we're going to have to talk about all the mess that he's made.
Oh, yeah.
In the past 8 years.
Right. And I'm not saying it's all going to be sunshine and roses, because there is stuff that is coming down the line that you guys need to be ready for. But as far as this specific issue goes...
Right.
We're only going to have to deal with a Muslim president for, the 7th? 10 more days, people. Hold out. All right, guys. This is Lee Michelle, Resistance Chicks, where it's not a conspiracy if it's the truth. Yeah, we had one of you called us out that it's conspiracy theory. We were trying to shorten it to make it easier so it wasn't a mouthful. Come on, people. Use your brain. We love you. You're going to have to cut me off from walking in front of the camera. Can you manage to...
I was cold all alone. No place for